Hi guys, in this session I will explain how to find and remove duplicate rows in Pandas with the help of the duplicate or drop duplicates method. First I will create a new file and call it duplicates. Then I will import my Pandas library, import Pandas spt, and my dataset read csv. I will go one step back to the data folder, and from there I will import nba.csv file. Then I will just call it df head, click shift enter. Okay, now I will try to check if there is a duplicated row, not a column, inside of my data frame. What does the row means? Row means that the whole or the entire row which is identical to a previous row. And if I try to first check the number of rows here, we have 458 rows here, but I will try to check if there is a duplicated row inside of my dataset by typing the duplicated df duplicated. It basically prints out true false statement, but we have a bunch of rows. I will need to add the sum method to count the number of rows if these rows are existing here. As you can see, the probability of similarity is very low because all the column values should be equal, but in our case it prints out false or zero. But I will try to create it manually. You can follow me if you want. Just open your nba.csv file, go to the bottom here and try to copy the last 5 rows here and paste it again here. Click Ctrl save and just exit this file and go back and try to import it again. And if you just run this df shape, we have added 5 rows, and you can see now we have 463 rows. Why did I just added it? We actually have lots of duplicated rows in these columns, but the data is very large and it will be a bit complex to explain you the process. That's why I just added 5 rows, and we basically now have 10 duplicated rows, and that's why it will be very easy for you to explain. Now I will try to call the duplicated rows by typing the df again. If I just run this one, it will say that we have 5 duplicated rows here, but if I want to call them, I will copy this one and entail this with the data frame here. It will do what? Print out those rows here, starting from 457 to 461, 57 and 400. By default, this duplicated has what? Keep equals first parameter, first. I will explain it right now. By default, it has like that. If you want to get to know that how this process works, I basically interested with this name column because I have added intentionally these duplicated rows because of this name column. But if I try to again check it for a specific column, for the name column, not the other columns, the result will be the same, duplicated, and the sum here, or tail. First let's type in the tail 20, and you could see that it will print out the last 5 rows as a duplicated one, while these ones are also duplicated to this one. By default, duplicated has keep equals to first, and you can see the result is the same. But what it means, if we have 10 duplicate rows in total, it will keep the first 5 and count them as not duplicated. These ones, it will count these ones are not duplicated, but all the next repeated duplicates will be printed as true with this parameter here. But if we have keep equals the last here, last, it in reverse, it will count to check from the bottom and count the first as the not duplicate ones, these ones. You could see these ones. because it goes from the bottom. And the other, then it, while checking the next ones, it will give a true and say I have seen them before, so I am going to consider these ones as duplicate ones, because it come to check from the bottom side here, the last one. That's why it just print, the last parameter would print the duplicated rows as the first ones, while the first parameter would print out it the duplicate as the last ones. If I try to print them out like this one, df, click shift enter, you could see that it will print out these from 452 to 456, while this one will print it from 457 to 461. You could see this is the difference between these parameters. But we also have what the keep false statement, which prints all the duplicated rows. If I just copy this one and type in the false here, it basically will print all these duplicated rows. You could see it don't care which ones are repeated, which are just added then later. It just prints out the rows which are just repeated continuously. Okay, but if we want to print all the null duplicated rows, the rows which are not repeated, we will use what? The tilde symbol, which shows the unique values in the data frame. Of course, we could print out the unique values with the unique method, but with duplicated method it's also possible. If I try to use this one, let's see, I will pick up another column here, team column. This team column also have the duplicated rows. I can even type it with like df team, because we have no space in our column, and type into duplicated sum, click shift enter. You could see that df team, this column has 462 duplicated rows inside of it. If I just try to calculate it, basically we had 463 minus 432, it will print out what? 31. It basically has 31 unique rows right now. I can even print them, but before printing it, let's see, I will just rewrite it, delete this sum, and do what? Entail it with these square brackets and call this data frame. It will have lots of bunch of these rows, because all these rows have duplicates, as you can see here. But if we want to print out those 31 unique rows with the tilde symbol, we are just adding this symbol to the front of this df and click shift enter, and you could see it will print out all these rows, unique rows, based on this team here, or based on this team column, because we have a specified team column here. It just prints out all the unique rows inside of this dataset. We could of course drop the duplicated values with the drop duplicated method, but first let's drop the duplicated rows across all columns, the rows which I have created intentionally, these rows, these ones. In order to drop them, I will type in what? df drop duplicates, and then I can do what? Type in the keep equals first. If I click shift enter, and then I will type in df shape, click shift enter. We haven't in place, make it in place true. I can make it in place equals true to make it permanent, and then I will just make it shape, call it with the shape. You can see that it would have what? 456 458 rows here, but initially we had 463. It basically did what? It dropped the duplicated rows, the last duplicated rows, and kept the first duplicated rows here, and printed out the result here. If I try to just call it the whole data frame df with tail here, let's see what will it print. You could see that these are the result shelf. This is the shelf here. It just remained or didn't touch these rows here, but removed the other ones. But if we want to drop or remove the duplicated values from the specific column, we should do what? Type in the df drop. Let's see that I want to, we have, as I said before, we have what? 432 duplicated values inside of the team column here, and if I want to just drop them, I will type in df drop duplicates, and then I will give a subset equals the name of the column first with this within this square bracket, the name of the column of the team. Then I can, by default it has a parameter called keep equals to first, but we don't care about it, we will not write it, but let's just write it. Keep equals to first. We are just saving or not touching the first duplicated ones, and then type in the in place equals to true and click shift enter. We have removed these rows and saved it, and now if I try to call the same data frame here, it would have what? 31 rows here, and it has dropped all the remaining rows. You could see this team has only the unique values, those 31 unique values which I have explained initially here. Now if I want to reset this index, it's not including the topics, but I can reset it by typing the what? Ignore like index, ignore index equals true, like this one, or the easy way, if you don't want to go back, you can just type in df reset index, click shift enter, or shift enter, and drop this index, drop index, drop equals to true, click shift enter. You can see we have this type of data. And now if I want to add one more column, we could actually include another one. If we have a college and it has again the duplicated rows here because we haven't filtered it based on these columns, and you want to get rid of these duplicated values inside of these college columns, you are just typing the college here, college column here, college, and click shift enter. Again type in the df shape, and if you are printing it out, let's say print it out, it hasn't removed these duplicated rows. Why? I don't know. If I again type it like that, no, it hasn't removed it. The problem might be maybe my Jupyter Notebook don't work properly, but you can check it in your interface. df, it has a data frame, not series. It should work without problems, but if it doesn't work and you want to again to remove the duplicated ones, again the college ones, you can do what? Again rewrite this code here and type in the college, click shift enter, again df shape. You can see you have eliminated this rows number, and if you just try to call this df here, you could see it has removed all these duplicated rows inside of this dataset. Okay, if you can handle this problem, just type me that you have handled. If no, just comment below. I will try to check it in another way or find another way of dropping it. We maybe could do it with group by method, but we haven't covered it. We will cover it in the future. So we have already cleaned our data or dropped the duplicated ones. I think that this is enough for this video. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to my channel. Have a good day. Bye.